Long ago, in the wide green savannah, two tribes lived close to each other. They were the Nkwazi and the Zubari. They used to share water from the same river and food from the same farms. They married across families and told stories under one sky. Then, a betrayal happened many years ago. Blood was spilled. From that time, a dark name followed them. People said a curse walked among their huts. The old women would whisper at night, "Yeda hoso, it still hangs on us." Children grew up being told that the other tribe could not be trusted. Mothers pulled their sons inside whenever a stranger passed. Young men slept with spears near their beds. The elders feared the ground would soon drink more blood. On a hot afternoon, both tribes came to the sacred baobab tree. Its branches stretched wide like the arms of a giant. The elders wanted to talk peace. It did not start well. A Zubari man shouted, "You stole our land." And Nkwazi elder answered, "You killed our fathers." Another voice cried, "You poisoned our wells." Another one replied, "You burned our barns." The sound rose like thunder. Spears shook in angry hands. Even the children cried out words they did not fully understand. Then a deep voice broke through the noise. "Munyinantie, all of you listen." It was Elder Mwene. No one had seen him walk in. Some people said later that he stepped out of the shadow of the tree itself. His beard was white like cotton. His eyes were bright like burning coals. Everyone became quiet. "The spirits have spoken," Mwene said. "If you fight now, blood will drown your children. But if you seek the Almighty, the curse will break." He lifted his staff. 40 days of prayer, 40 nights of seeking, together. If you fail, your children will carry this hatred on their bones. Some people nodded with fear in their eyes. Others shook their heads. Among the Nkwazi stood Kofi, a tall young warrior with a scar in his cheek. He whispered to his brother, "Prayer did not save our father when he was speared. Prayer is wind." His brother looked at him with pain. "Kofi," he said softly, "Eyadeng, it is hard, but maybe wind is what we need to put out this fire." That night, both tribes returned to the baobab. Lanterns glowed like small stars. People prayed with heavy hearts. Some wept, some kept silent. Then a bent old woman stepped forward. It was Mama Surah of the Zubari. "My son died in a raid," she said. "For years, I cursed the Nkwazi. I wished death on them. But tonight, my own curse feels like a rope around my neck." Her words cut through the crowd. Others began to speak. A man spoke of fear. A mother spoke of hunger. A girl spoke of waking from dreams with a scream in her throat. For the first time in many years, they listened to each other. Strange dreams began to visit the people. Many saw a lion standing on a hill under a moon that looked like an eye. Some saw rivers on fire. Others saw chains falling from the sky and breaking on the ground. Kofi saw the lion too. It stood in front of him. It did not attack. It bowed its head. Mwene listened to Kofi and said, "Inyewu, This is not death. The lion is courage. The chain is hatred. Only courage can break it. No quarrel. The truth is this. Hatred has become your law. Now courage must become your law. On the 10th day, Mwene asked them to fast. No food, no water. The night was long. Bellies cried. Hearts trembled. Visions came like rushing wind. People saw the old story with clear eyes. Long ago, a Zubari chief stole sacred land from the Nkwazi. Later, Nkwazi warriors killed Zubari children during a revenge raid. Both sides had blood. The morning after the fast, the crowd shook with fear and anger. Some shouted, "The curse is stronger than us." Others cried, "Blood must pay for blood." For a moment, the prayer challenge almost died. Mwene would not bend. He called the elders and the youth to follow him into the bush. "Bring one thing that carries your pain," he said. They returned with spears used in raids, a child's torn cloth, a broken bracelet, a rusted bell from a stolen cow, a strip of a flag from an old war. They laid them down, prayed over them, then burned or buried them. Some screamed as if iron rings were breaking inside their bellies. "Abusua, family," Mwene said in a gentle voice. "Mi pamucheo. Please, let the fire take the bitterness. Let the ground drink your tears and return peace." That night, Kofi fell on his knees and wept. He remembered his father teaching him to set traps. He remembered the day his father did not return. He remembered how he had promised to hate forever. "Miwarafi, I have let it go," he whispered with shaking shoulders. "I forgive them. I also forgive myself." The next days brought a small light. The youth said they wanted to cook together and dance together. They asked to hold a festival of unity. Many elders said no. "We must not mix our traditions. We will lose ourselves." Mwene's voice rose like a drum. "Unity is not weakness. It is strength. If a house has 2 doors, does the wind not enter both?" The festival was allowed. On the evening of the festival, the dust danced with drums. Women pounded fufu and stirred soups in big pots. Men carried meat on sticks over red coals. Children ran, laughing. For one night, the Nkwazi and the Zubari looked like one big family. Kofi saw a Zubari girl helping the old and guiding the young. Her name was Abina. Her eyes were bright with hope. She greeted him. "Midawasit, thank you for carrying the water pots." Kofi smiled for the first time in many months. Not everyone smiled. In the dark, a group of elders from both sides met in secret. "If we unite, we will lose our power," one said. "Our ancestors will spit on us," another said. They agreed to end Mwene's work. They would frighten the people, then strike Mwene when the fear was high. The first fear came in the night. A child went missing. A little boy named Kojo did not return after chasing fireflies. His mother screamed under the moon. People gathered with torches. Some whispered that the other tribe had taken him. Abina pulled Kofi's arm. "Do not let them fight. Let us search the river." They ran past tall grass and thorn bushes. They found Kojo asleep in a hollow tree, his hands full of dead fireflies. They carried him back, but in the confusion, someone set fire to a Zubari grain store. The flames rose like a red mouth. Cries filled the night.
"It is war," some shouted. Kofi climbed a rock and shouted louder, "Jai, stop! No one will lift a spear. The boy is found. The fire is not from us or from them. It is from those who want our fear." He and Abena led people to pass water in bowls and beat the fire down with wet leaves. The store was saved, though the door burned black. 2 nights later, Mwene prayed alone under the baobab. The conspirators released a long black snake. It slid like a shadow through the grass. Just before it struck, a lion sprang from the darkness and crushed it with one blow. The lion did not look at the people. It looked at the sky as if listening. Then it walked away like a king.
The crowd fell to the ground. Mwena lifted his staff. Unyakupon beye. God has done this. Asumdre mra. Let peace come. On the 30th day, the sky turned hard. No rain fell. The river shrank like a rope pulled tight. Cattle groaned. Babies cried for water. Some people said the cares had grown angry. Others said the prayers had angered the ancestors. A stranger came, wearing bones around his neck. He said the ancestors had told him that the only way to end the drought was to attack the other tribe and take their wells. He spoke like a prophet. Some started to believe him. Abena watched him and felt a cold in her stomach. She whispered to Kofi, "There is something wrong. Do not let him speak to the crowd alone." She followed the man when he left the village path. Kofi followed too. In the bush, the man met 2 elders who had been angry at the festival. They gave him a small bag. Inside the bag was a rolled leather map and a piece of charcoal. The man had been sent to lie. Abena stepped out and shouted, "Kwe, stop!" The man ran. Kofi chased and caught him. They brought him back before the tribes. The elders tried to deny it, but when the bag was opened, the old map showed wells shared by both tribes long ago. The wells were marked with 2 symbols side by side. On a corner of the map was a faded drawing of 2 women from both tribes washing their babies in the same water. Nanaung, our ancestors, were not enemies. We were the ones who forgot. The crowd became quiet. Mwena said softly, "No quarry, no. This is the truth. Lies are dry leaves. A small fire will burn them." That night, Kofi took the youth to the river bank. The river was low and slow, like a tired snake. He stood in the shallow water. "Even if the sky is dry, our hearts will pour rain," he said. "Pray with me." The youth prayed. The old prayed. Abena began a song in a small voice. "Nyami, ma asasinuinsa. God, let the land drink." The song moved from mouth to mouth until the whole valley sang. Thunder rolled behind the hills. At dawn, rain poured from the clouds like ropes of silver. Children danced and shouted, "Unswa, unswa, water, water." Women lifted their faces and let the water wash their tears. Men fell to their knees and covered their faces with wet hands. With rain on the ground, peace seemed close, but the care still needed a burial. Mwene said they must go to a place of truth. He led them to a hidden cave by the old river bend. On the walls were paintings made long ago. There were hunters from both tribes lifting a net together. There were mothers from both tribes sharing grain. There was a drawing of a lion between 2 houses, its head bowed. Abena touched a small painted bracelet on the wall and froze. She wore the same pattern on her wrist, a gift from her grandmother. Kofi looked at the bracelet and felt a pull in his chest. He had seen that pattern before. He ran to his mother and asked about his father's last raid. She cried and told him a secret she had kept for many years.
Your father tried to stop that rage, she said. He saved a crying baby girl from the fire and left her at the doorstep of a woman he trusted in the Zubari village. He said, Boano, help her. Then he hid and ran back before his own men found him. The woman who raised Abina always said a brave stranger saved her from flames when she was a baby. The pattern on Abina's bracelet was from that night. Kofi's eyes filled with tears. Abina covered her mouth with her hand. Two families had been linked by a quiet act of mercy. The curse was shaking. The last days moved like slow drums. People cooked together. People repaired broken fences together. Abena taught Zuberi songs to Ninkwazi children. Kofi taught Ninkwazi dances to Zuberi boys. The conspirators stood apart with heavy faces. Mwena visited them in the night and spoke softly. Mepaucho, please, come and say the truth. The land is listening. Your hearts are heavy. Let them breathe. On the 40th night, both tribes gathered around a great fire. The flames stood tall. The smoke climbed the sky like a thin tree. Mwene spoke. Tonight, the curse ends. Not by my staff, not by the lion, not by the rain. The curse ends if you forgive. All of it. All the names. All the nights. All the blood. There was a long quiet. Then Mama Sora stepped forward on shaking legs. She said, Me weriefi. I forgive. An Inkwazi warrior laid down his spear and said, Me werefi. A Zubari mother took the hands of an Inkwazi woman and said, Ye nyina ya abuswa, we are one family. One by one, the conspirators came forward. They spoke with low voices and wet eyes. They said they had feared change. They said they had loved their own faces more than the faces of their children. They asked for mercy. Mwene nodded. Mercy is water. Drink it. Give it. Kofi took Abena's hand. He looked at the people and then at the fire. Maybe prayer is not wind. Maybe prayer is breath. Without breath, we die. With breath, we speak life. Abena smiled with tears on her cheeks and said, Midase, thank you for not giving up when the sky turned hard. The fire leaped high, bright and clean, as if the heavens accepted the offering of their words. The lion did not appear that night, but its strength moved through the crowd like a warm wind. Drums began to beat. Voices rose in praise. Onyakopo yedase, God, we thank you. People embraced. People laughed and wept at the same time. The old baobab shook its leaves like a blessing. The years that followed told a new story. Then Inkwazi and Zuberi built a shared well where the map had shown the two symbols side by side. They raised a small school for both tribes. The first lesson on the wall said, Nokrari, the truth heals. Every year they returned to the sacred baobab to remember. They called the day Lion Day. The children would ask, did the lion really crush a snake? The old would smile and say, yes, the lion came. But the greater miracle was this: human hearts became soft. Kofi led a committee for the youth and he taught them how to talk before fighting, how to listen before shouting. Abena began a festival of stories where elders told the young about the years when the two tribes were one. People learned the old songs together. They learned new songs too. They ended each gathering by saying in one voice, Asomdwe mra, may peace come. Then they would add, Ye yina yobako, we are one family. Sometimes trouble tried to return. A drought would threaten. A thief would steal a goat and blame the other tribe. Fear would knock at the door. Kofi would lift his hand and say, Jia, stop. Let us search for truth first. Abena would say, Nokrari kopem achiri. Truth walks to the end. They would pray. They would talk. They would forgive quickly. The curse could not find a place to sit anymore. When Elder Mwene grew very old, he asked to sleep one last night under the baobab. Kofi and Abena sat beside him. He held their hands and whispered, Medomu yina, I love you all. Remember this. The lion bowed before the sky to teach you to bow your hearts. The chain broke because courage held the hammer. Then he closed his eyes and rested like a child. The people sang him to sleep with soft voices and carried him gently at dawn. The story of the two tribes spread to other valleys. Strangers came to learn how enemies became family. They were given water from the shed well and a small piece of cloth painted with a lion and two houses. They were told, take this home. When anger rises like fire in your villages, remember us. Remember the lion. Remember the night we chose peace. Even now, when the wind moves through the tall grass at evening, people say they can hear a deep sound like the breath of a lion. They say it is a reminder. Do not forget. Pray together. Speak truth. Forgive fast. Build together. Yeda Hoso, the past still hangs near, but we have learned a new way to live. And under the sacred baobab, when the drums are quiet and the children are asleep,
A soft voice seems to say, Yenyi na ya buswa. We are one family.